Namaskar. Today we are going to start with the Constitution of India. In this introductory lecture, we are going to cover certain basic things regarding to the Indian Constitution, its definition, its historical background, and certain features. So let us first start with what a constitution means. Constitution is a document having legal sanctity which sets out the framework and the principal functions of the organ of the government. In simple words, we can say that a constitution is a living document. Now, by living document, we means that this document is not rigid. It can be amended time to time. It is an instrument which makes the government system work. It is flexible, as we can say. The Article 368 helps in the amendment of this constitution. The Indian Constitution is the world's largest written constitution, which comprises of 22 parts, covering up 395 articles, 12 schedules. If we look at the first article, the article first of the Constitution of India says that India, that is Bharat, shall be the union of states. When we look at its preamble, we come to know that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic country with a parliamentary system of the government. The word republic is governed in terms of the Constitution of India was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949, and the Constitution came into force on January 26, 1950, which we all celebrate as the Republic Day of India. The Constitution provides for a parliamentary form of government which is federal in structure with certain unitary features. The constitutional head of the executive of the union is the President of India. As per the Article 79 of the Constitution, we see that the Council of the Parliament of the Union consists of President and the two houses. The two houses in India are known as the Council of State or Rajya Sabha and the House of People, that is Lok Sabha. Further, if you look at Article 74, we can conclude that the Constitution provides that there shall be a Council of Ministers with Prime Minister being its head, who aid and advise the President and who shall exercise the functions in accordance to the advice. So we can conclude that the real executive power is vested in the Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister as its head.